up to another good morning. Time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all
Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
Oh, that was terrible.
I know. I don't
Come
feel
on.
like singing today.
So our mission here is purpose-driven productivity. We didn't say it last time. What was it?
It was our 10th episode last
we
week.
made it. What do they say? Like 90% of podcasts don't make it to the 10th episode? I don't know.
I feel like you made that statistic.
Completely made that up, but I think it's accurate. But this is our 11th, so we've,
We succeeded.
I know.
Kind
We're
of.
done. Shut down.
But thanks for being here with us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, like I said, our mission is purpose-driven productivity.
Yes.
What are we talking about today?
I think we're talking about identity today.
Yes, we are. So identity drives behavior, whether we like it or not, which I guess is a good thing because we have our ability to control that. We have the ability to change our identities. And we have identities in different areas of our lives. Your identity at work is different than your identity at home or as a husband or as a wife, as a father. So those different identities you have to kind of look at them and say, where am I struggling in these different identities? Mm-hmm. And where can I improve in these different identities? And what are they? And really hone in on that.
And I think sometimes when you lose your identity a little bit, like something that's really important to you might shift, whether it's like a career change or like for me, due to COVID, I had just gained a lot of momentum in my work life, and I had started a new career, and then everything was kind of put on pause. And I mean, I loved the time with my kids doing the homeschooling thing, but there was a loss of identity for a second. Like I lost that piece of me. And so trying to like redefine in the moment, if for some reason your identity has shifted or changed, being able to like look at that situation and say, okay, well, how can I show up in a way that now is homeschooling my parents and being there to pour into them, and what does that look like, so that I can do that but not lose my true heart identity. Does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. And I mean, we were talking earlier before we started recording. I mean, my identity as a teenager in early 20s wasn't healthy. It was a very I identified as someone that didn't finish things, would start something and not complete it. I identified as someone that wasn't high in confidence and all these things that just, so I would show up for an interview and just not show up as my best self because I didn't identify as somebody that could get that job. Mm-hmm. But one of the great books that was, shifted a lot of my perspective around identity was The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. And he talks about these athletes and different individuals, how they actually have an alter ego for when they are trying to perform at their best. So like Kobe Bryant identified himself as the Black Mamba when he went onto the basketball court. Deion Sanders as prime time. David Goggins fans, who's a Navy SEAL and an ultra athlete, he calls himself Goggins when he's in those moments. And even something like Clark Kent's a Superman. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is something that once I read that book, I go all in on things. So I really started to dive into my different identities and my buckets of life, and my main buckets of energy, work, and love. If you've been tuning in for a while, you may have heard me talk about a gold silicone ring I wear. That's because in the love bucket, my identity is Jack from...
Oh, This Is Us. But you know what's really funny about this gold silicone ring is sometimes Bryan does this like deep work where he's like reading a book or absorbing some type of knowledge or whatever. All of a sudden the ring just showed up, and then he started wearing it on this finger. And it wasn't until I was like, what's the deal with this ring, that you actually like sat down and explained it to me. Because I think there was a little bit of like, well, I'm trying to be like Jack from This Is Us, which I think is really sweet. Because this man never, ever, ever watches TV ever. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big TV person either, but that was the one show that like I could get you to sit down and you actually watch. And I think every episode you cried.
Potentially cried.
Yes. No, there were some tears every episode.
He is a fantastic father. So it was just like, and he's from Pittsburgh. So hence like the gold silicone ring. I wanted to find something that like identified him, that then I only wear it at home. I don't wear it at work. So it's something different. So you got to have fun with the alter egos, really think outside the box, something that's going to light you up, that's going to feel exciting. So if you've watched the gratitude kind of how-to videos after you buy the product, I kind of go into energy, work, and love, and then I say what the identity is in each. And then after I say identity, it's like what describes that. So my identity is Jack. I could say Jack's patient. Jack is fun, goofy, whatever that word is that I want to show up to today. And then an action word that's going to like solidify or carve out your belief system to become that alter ego. So, hard playtime with the kids, or bike rides, or lacrosse with Hadley, our daughter. So I do that every morning with my alter ego or identity within energy, which is fitness, work, and then love.
And I love the actual, like, you have the physical reminder. Like, you used to keep it on your keychain where you would get in the car and you'd put it on. And that was, when you were getting out of the car to come into the house to us. In my life, one of my biggest roles was as an educator, a teacher for so many years. And I think that there were so many times where my way to work would be my time to like acclimate myself to the fact that I was going to have to be a different person. I have to have an identity. I have to leave the mom identity at home and the wife identity at home. And now I'm here to serve these kids who are in front of me. And what are those characteristics that I want to be the best version of myself as a teacher? So I didn't have a physical reminder, but how do I want them to see me? What is that lens that I want them to see me as playful and creative and understanding, and that I can listen to them and that I love them and care about them? And so what are those actions that I need to take to, when I open that classroom door, to be that person and just leave everything else to the side,
Yeah, exactly. So I would encourage, like, look at like one area of your life that maybe you're not showing up as your best self in, be it just throwing things out there as a father, as a husband, as a wife, as a coworker, as a friend,
as a family member.
Yeah, as a family member,
parents,
to your parents.
Yeah. That's one that I think I work on a lot too, because you get so wrapped up in like your own family dynamics. Like, how do you make sure that you're extending outward to other people who matter? And
exactly. So like define like one area, then create an identity in there that like is fun. So it's just like, when I'm hanging out with my parents, I want to be this, and then you show up intentionally as that. So that's kind of what we wanted to chat about today.
Wait, I really want to like have some interaction with, we have the Facebook community, which we love, but it would be really, really fun for you to do some thinking about what is an area of life that maybe you need an alter ego, where's something that you maybe aren't showing up the way that you want to, and you want to shift some things in order to do that. And then I'd love for you to like name your alter ego and then maybe share it in the Facebook community. Because once you put it out in the world, I feel like that like affirmation is a good way to have some accountability. So, and I'll think on that too, because I've never named my alter egos, but maybe I should.
So my work, just as another example, is flywheel. So Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, he has the flywheel effect. So it's just like you just keep pushing that flywheel like they used back in the day.
Wait, what's a flywheel?
It's like the sawmill things, I think. Or I'm way getting this. Like I'm thinking of the
like a cog, like something.
Yeah, like a cog,
a
big wheel. So that like in the beginning it's hard to push, but as you keep pushing it, and if you do it every day, then it just goes on its own. So with me, I have flywheel as my work alter ego to show up consistently every day, to like make those phone calls or make those interactions every single day. And then over time, which has been where my success has come from, is just showing up every day. So that's my alter ego for work.
And I just taught a graduate course out of his office this weekend, because my courses are for teachers. So I teach them on the weekends. And I was in his office and I was like looking around at his space, like, because I was in there for 6 hours. And you are so good at tracking that stuff. Like, I'm talking like he has charts on his wall where he's like every phone call, so when you talk about these like little actions that you take, I mean, everything is documented and you can tell that it's consistent all the time. So I understand that alter ego is important to you. And I think that leads to success for you.
Yeah. And I was able to choose it, which is a fun part of it. So cool. Anything else?
No, I just want to know what your alter egos are. And I hope that you join us for 10 more.
Yeah. So if you haven't joined the private Facebook community, please do. If you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe. And if you give us a review, that's very helpful. Send to friends. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. Have a good week.
Hello world, wake me up to another good